Yeah, I did see. Obviously, I tweeted out yesterday because I started catching up on. I try to avoid anything work related when I'm on vacation. You know, I chat a little bit with the team, but it's supposed to be. It was that was my only vacation this year, so I tried to avoid any work stuff. But when I was in the airport getting ready to come back yesterday, I did start catching up on stuff, and the Blizzard thing just blew my fucking mind. I I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but it is very counter to everybody I spoke to at Blizzard. Literally everybody I spoke to at Blizzard. It is exactly the opposite of how they seem to feel. So, am I surprised? I wish I'd gotten time with Mike Ibarra, but that did not happen. And I'm starting to paint a picture in my mind of why that didn't happen. I could be wrong, but I'm definitely getting that impression. I don't think the people who I spoke to at Blizzard lied at all. I don't think they did. I said I spoke to Brian Birmingham, who's now no longer with Blizzard. The people I spoke to were at least I'm pretty good at telling these things. They were pretty fucking genuine. They were pretty genuine. But I did not talk to Mike Ibarra. You know, I did not talk to those dudes. Maybe I lied. I didn't. I can tell you. I mean, we have it on camera as well. Like, with Ian and John and Holly is... Here's the weird thing. Let's have a little recap for this for people who aren't sure what's going on. So, Blizzard Entertainment, Mike Ibarra, spoke to employees in an all-hands meeting on Zoom yesterday, addressing a number of controversial subjects, including the ranking thing, which is why Brian Birmingham left, reduced profit sharing, and the upcoming return-to-office mandate. This is just mad. Activision Blizzard's ending work-from-home policies. Employees expected to return to the office this summer. Blizzard Entertainment appears to be ending most of its work-from-home policies, which began in early 2020 as a measure from COVID. First detailed on Twitter, a spokesman for Activision Blizzard confirmed to game developer that Blizzard employees would return and be required to spend 3 days a week in the office starting on July 10th. A spokesperson from Blizzard confirmed the office work would resume on April 10th for Activision Publishing employees and July 10th for Blizzard employees. Employees for both divisions will be required to come to the office 3 days a week. The spokesperson added that the King portion of the publisher went back to the office in July. The cadence of these in-office days are set by King's team leaders to fit with the needs of each team. Blizzard has been returning teams to the office over the past year. They continued by saying that the office days were created in partnership with the leadership of each team and customized based on what's best for the business and the team. But on the face of this doesn't seem bad, or like too strange, right? But it actually is really bad for a lot of the staff. Many employees have been critical of this announcement, commenting both privately and publicly about their disdain for the seemingly unnecessary change. Noting that Blizzard successfully launched Classic WoW, 2 retail expansions, and several game updates in the 3 years since shifting to remote. Others lamented being uprooted after having been given leave to move their families to completely different states. This is the important one. So, everything I know after being there and talking with these guys is and Ian said this to me, and it's on camera, there's no reason for us to come back to the office. In fact, there's a distinct advantage that they found with people working at home, such as a work-life balance, considerably better. Blizzard couldn't do when they were releasing new content or having opinions and stuff. There's so many members of staff that they had to rent the local cinema to show things to people in order to get everybody to see it, right? Like, you've seen my tour of the offices. There's like theaters on every single floor of the buildings. But there's so many members of staff that if they want to show off, like, hey, what do you think about this new content? Or this is what we're doing this year. They had to rent out the local cinema to show the people stuff. Whereas in Zoom meetings and stuff, everybody had it on their screen and they got much better feedback. Everybody just had it, like, right in their face instead of being sat at the back of a movie theater, like, shouting or just having to sit quietly and stuff like that. Just didn't work. Now, I had a big talk with Ian about this because work from home creatively is very, very tough. So I was curious how they'd beaten it. Like, for us, we have, 5 members of the team who work with PG. 4 of them, well, currently 3 of them work in our office that's drowned, and it will be 4. And the reason we do that is, obviously with cameras and shit like that and creatively, it is better. It is far better to have us together when we're discussing ideas and working on things. It's way, way better. We've done it work from home. We're doing it now work from home, but it is considerably better to have those people in. So I was curious how they beat it. And he said it's got its problems. And, you know, Ian was pretty open. It's got its problems for sure. What you miss out on is, hey, I've got this idea for this piece of content. And you're not just next to the guys who'll be making it, who like have iterations and stuff like that. So they have a lot of internal systems to try and keep that environment up. But it's tough. It's really, really tough. So it was a problem, but they seemingly overcame it, and Dragonflight came out of the back of it. But the bigger problem is this. They told people it wasn't going to happen. You know, like, it seems fine. So people moved on the back of that to states that aren't Irvine, California, which is giga expensive to live in. Average home price, Irvine, California. Like, Irvine is no joke to live there. It's a very, very wealthy area. That's just a fact. Like, it's a ridiculously expensive area. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, $600,000. 2 bed, 3 bath, $700,000. 4 bedrooms, $1.4 million. $1 million for 3 beds. Like, looking for somewhere to live, $1.1 million. 1.2, 1.1. Right? Like, it's a crazy expensive area to live in. And what else you've done, and this is where it gets ropey in this meeting. So a lot of people moved away. Brian Halinka, who's a big deal at Blizzard, he drove 4 hours from where he lives to the office to come and talk to me. 4 hours. That's how far away he lives from the Blizzard campus. He drove 4 hours from his house just to come and talk to me for an hour, and then got back in his fucking car and went home. Like, I'm very thankful for that, but it's like, yeah, work from home's great for me. I've got a nice place to live. It's not as expensive. I can still do all my work. Like, it's awesome. But what they've also done is they've recruited a lot of people who do not live here at all. Like, I know for the people I worked closely with when I was at Blizzard, Alex, who was awesome, he lives in San Francisco. Bethany lives on, like, the other side of California entirely. So, like, all these staff that they've hired don't live around here. And then I think in this meeting, let's go back here. Right, so the stack ranking thing, this is where you had to put people into categories, even if they didn't deserve it, right? The practice of using stack rankings to evaluate employee performance came to public light after Brian Birmingham left the company in protest due to refusing to give out an undeservedly low employee evaluation in order to fill the stack ranking quotas required by execs, citing it as an unfair practice which pits employees against one another. Birmingham followed up by saying the policies originated from the problematic influence of Blizzard rather than Blizzard themselves. Activision Blizzard. Despite these comments seemingly absolving Blizzard and its leadership, however, President Mike Ibarra took a different line, reportedly downplayed the concerns raised by Birmingham. Frustration apparently began to boil as the Q&A went on, particularly during a conflicting back-and-forth discussion of how the company ranks worker performance. Ibarra reportedly downplayed comments made by lead software engineer Brian Birmingham, who criticized the company's use of stacked ranking policy that he claimed would force him to punitively rank an employee whose performance he found to be satisfactory. Blizzard spokesperson told GameDev that Ibarra did not directly reference Birmingham's comments. They provided an explanation of the content of this conversation that did mirror the sentiments our sources said were expressed in the meeting. We don't stack rank employees 1 through X at Blizzard. We have high expectations for our teams. Managers set goals with every employee, and we measure performance against those goals. We provide managers with guidelines for how to consider performance ratings in larger teams to ensure they're more fair and unbiased, and there's flexibility. Leadership provides feedback across the company to ensure that ratings are not solely based on one manager's opinion. Performance management is every manager's job. It isn't an easy one, and we appreciate it. So that says, like, nothing. That says absolutely nothing. Reduced profit sharing. Compensation was also a big talking point, following a recent announcement that Blizzard employees would only be receiving 58% of their profit-sharing bonus, despite record-breaking growth and profits during Activision Blizzard's latest financial results report. Hey, Chris, no, Specs. We just had the most profitable year ever. Thank you. You feel good about that, team? You feel good about that, team? And I thank you. Thank you very much. Pizza party. Yeah, we want a pizza party. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your hard work. Well done. Employees took exception to a statement made by Ibarra suggesting that all groups were similarly affected by the cuts when each group's base compensation and bonuses are so dramatically skewed. According to several sources, Ibarra stated something to the effect of, if you think that executives are making a lot of money and you aren't, you're living in a myth. I mean, I've seen your car, Mike. It's not on layaway, is it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those poor execs. Ow. Oof. Rough. You're never going to get sympathy. Even if it were true, you're never going to get sympathy. In the context of the discussion, Ibarra's statement was technically factual. Blizzard's decision to cut the profit sharing bonus 58% does apply to all employees, executives included. Different bonus, though, isn't it? Yeah. It's a different bonus. Not quite the same. In a broader context, sources agree that Ibarra's statement, and particularly the implication that employees are living in a myth, does not make sense. Ah. All right, the return to office mandate. Discussion regarding the end of work from home policies tied into the question of compensation, as employees would soon find themselves with increased expenses related to returning to a physical office. Others may have to relocate entirely, although apparently some workers would be able to remain all remote. According to our sources, Ibarra responded to a question that argued this return to office policy would cause the company to lose talent at an inopportune time. The questioner asked what leadership intended to do to prevent such departures. Ibarra reportedly did not provide any clear action plans to retain talent, though it was apparently shared elsewhere that Blizzard would open offices in new unnamed locations to act as central hubs. That's true, they are, but they're not close to California. He did, however, that I know of anyway, he did, however, reportedly say the following. At the end of the day, we want people to be happy. And if decisions about being happy don't align with where we're going, and you won't be happy, then you'll have to do what makes you happy. If you weren't sure, because he said happy a lot there, let me just rephrase this for you. This is what we're doing. If you don't like it, then leave. There you go. I just summarized it for you. Okay? So there you go. If you're unsure how that was worded, that's what he's saying there is. This is what we're doing, and if you don't like it, then don't be here anymore. All right. After publication, Blizzard reached out to add more comments to this topic. Oh, God. I can picture the fucking PR team that we dealt with, Mike. Go ahead. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can totally picture them. We understand some people may not find this model ideal and that change is hard, but we're one of 90% of companies returning to the office this year. Why? Why? I'm not wrong, right? How many companies reported massively increased efficiency and productivity from work from home? A lot. A lot. A lot of people. A hell of a lot of people. Yeah. Like most. We're actually like, this is actually fine. And it's pretty good. It's actually fine. Yeah, almost all of them. We can't get rid of employees. Yeah, it's actually worked out totally fine for a lot of companies who've been saying for years we do not need to be in the office for this shit. They also reaffirmed that the company is continuing to honor the status of all remote workers, and exceptions on the return to office plan will be made for medical or religious reasons. You can't just leave those millions of tech and space empty. I asked about that. I did ask about that because it's weird. You know, we've shown you inside the Blizzard offices. They're just dead. It's like a wasteland. So we were like, what are you going to do? Like, what is the plan here? Because you've got this giant campus and there's just nobody there. It was busy while we were there. I think there was 200 people there. Something like that. And that was actually busy. Like, it was pointed out, like, for the last 3 years, this is the most people they've seen on campus. So we asked about this stuff, and they were like, it's actually kind of fine, because we're going to rotate people in and out. We can have some space here. We can move other people in. And there's some California's got some cuts because this is, you know, some tax breaks because of the work from home to keep people safe and keep businesses going. It's a huge campus. I can't even get you a big overview here. God, of course, it's another harassment post. Where's the picture? So it's actually huge. It actually goes back here. Yeah. So that's the statue there, and that's the, like, Warcraft Hearthstone is in there, and other games are dotted around here. This is like the canteen and the gym and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, classic WoW is now, like, not in this building. I think it's this building back here. Because we had to walk all the way. This is kind of a nice walk. It's like a nice walk. But all these buildings are pretty much empty. Like, every office is pretty much empty. But they, again, for the people we spoke to, they were totally fine with it. Some people were coming in 1 or 2 days a week. John Haidt pointed out that they managed to give everybody the resources to work from home within, like, a week. So they were fine with it. Like, John was totally fine with it. Hide the classic alleys. They've moved them to, like, their own building. That was a new change. I think it's this one. Nups might be better. He's good with a bit more awareness on it. But I think that's the classic WoW building. This is like a hospital over here. I think that's the classic WoW building. This was a car park. That's just a big ass car park there. It's there. Well, they said it was actually. I mean, I'm going off the people who are working there. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's a little weird, but it's, you know, it's fine. And our employees are happier and they're working better. And we're getting some tax breaks for it. So I think all of California's doing with that. Because we spoke to some people who work at other game devs in the area, and they were all the same. They were like, we just don't, it's not necessary. And in fact, one thing that was a big bonus was a lot of the weird meetings. Anybody who works office life will also know this. You end up in meetings all the time where you just don't need to be there. This could be an email, right? That's the usual thing. And that happens with Blizzard quite a lot, or at least used to, is they would invite us. I can tell you the most egregious use of my time that Blizzard offered me. And I like a lot of the Blizzard people. You guys know that. But the most egregious use of my time is they wanted me to fly to California. They wanted me to get on a plane, fly to California, which is, you know, it's got to be 20 hours all told with travel. Leaving my door, it's going to be about 20 hours. To fly to a movie theater in California to watch the Battle for Azeroth trailer and then get back on a plane the same night and come home. Unpaid. Like, that was the email I received. Like, unpaid as well. I was like, what are you talking about? Why would I ever do that? And they were like, because it's Blizzard. And it was still in the back of, like, you know, Blizzard's inviting you. This is a really cool thing. I was like, that's just horrible. That's just awful. Yeah, paid in exposure, kind of. Although, I'm not going to name names who were other content creators who started to have this problem with Blizzard. This was a problem we had with Blizzard before I stopped actively covering it daily. It was a regular problem we'd have, is they were still very much, you should be thankful we're talking to you. And that works when, let's be truthful about this, right? That works when you're, like, new to making content. You know, you're a small streamer, you're a small YouTuber. Yeah, it gets your name out there as you were attending this thing. It does. It gets it out there, and you're probably not earning enough that it's a very big deal, and you get to fly to America, and you get to do all these cool things, you get to have dinner. Yeah, there's a part of that to it. But me and a few other content creators were like, not only does this cost us a shitload of money, it's a massive inconvenience. I can actually turn this into an earner by not doing it. I could literally watch the trailer at home, make a video about it if I chose to make one of those let's watch the trailer videos, and actually make money this way. So why would I do it? Like, it makes no sense. Like, we're now at a point because we have a Discord that has, like, several of the big content creators in it, and we were like, what the fuck are they thinking? This is now at this point where this doesn't make any sense for us, like, to do this stuff. And they never got it, but they've changed now. I want to be clear on this. The Blizzard I deal with now isn't like that. They've been very good to the content creators recently. Very, very good. So that was like a year and a half ago or 2 years. That's the Blizzard we were dealing with. It's like, if we offer you something, you should be like lapping it up immediately. And we were like, I don't think so, dude. That's just not how this works anymore, unfortunately. Okay. Where were we? Okay, long-term disciplines. Perhaps the largest point of outrage came from comments implying that quality assurance and customer service, two of the employee groups most affected by these other changes, were not considered long-term disciplines. A Blizzard spokesperson walked the statements back after the fact, citing entry or junior level roles rather than CS and QA departments specifically, although the clarification rings somewhat hollow given that the majority of customer service and quality assurance are generally hired as low-paid entry or junior level roles. In the discussion, Ibarra reportedly said something to the effect of, "Some of our disciplines are not long-term disciplines." Blizzard spokesperson confirmed that Ibarra made that comment. According to them, those disciplines are considered not long-term because the company wants people to grow and take on expanded responsibility and opportunity. They said that Activision Blizzard has many programs to support that growth. After publication, Blizzard reached out to game developers to say that this comment from Ibarra was not made to reference any specific discipline or department. Roles at Blizzard have different compensation levels. We encourage and support people in lower compensation roles to further develop skills and expertise that allow for greater opportunity and rewards for them. This was meant to include a broad swathe of entry junior level roles that were not targeted at our talented CS or QA teams who play important roles in serving our players. We appreciate the important roles to our QA and CS teams play in serving the players. Yeah, that's shitting on your team. The demoralized employee response. In response to these and other comments made throughout the meeting, employees' response has been overwhelmingly critical. Feeling demoralized and undervalued, several have taken to Twitter and other social media to share their frustrations and show support for their fellow co-workers while lamenting the alarming cost of living in areas like Irvine. Game developer again relays a few of these comments from their own sources. One source speaking to Game Dev wanted to stress that today's QA with management was the most demoralizing one they'd witnessed since J. Allen Brack made his final internal comments before he departed in 21. The combined comments made during the QA painted a picture of management that stunned this source. According to them, Blizzard employees who weathered the last 2 years did so with the belief that the Blizzard Entertainment of today is not the one described in the lawsuit filed by the state of California. They described a sense that many unpopular decisions seen by the public were made by Activision Blizzard, above Mike Ibarra and other company leaders. But today's QA has challenged that belief. They said that hearing the words come out of Ibarra's mouth made it seem like the unpopular policies and refusals to raise pay were driven by Blizzard leadership. It feels wrong, they said. Nobody asked for this. No one knows where this came from. This is not the Blizzard we've worked with in the last year and a half. So, just shit, man. Like, for a lot of the people who've had it's Bobby's will, it does feel like Ibarra is doing what he's been told to do. But I haven't spoke to him. I don't know, but I'm not I can't say I'm a huge fan because I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. But it feels like this is exactly what it is. This is happening. You've got to fucking sort it out. Deal with it. Bobby wants a new boat. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it. I feel like Ibarra has had to cement himself as basically the spokesperson for Activision. And that's it. Because this is, I could say, without any bias, without any dick sucking, because, you know, we paid for our trip, I can tell you, I don't believe this is how Ian felt. I don't believe this is how John Haidt felt. And I do not believe this is how Holly felt. At all. In any way, shape, or form. Like, very counter to how they felt things were going. Very, very counter. And that was the same for Brian Birmingham when I spoke to him. He's one of the top classic guys. Like, the top people I spoke to, which was not Ibarra, did not feel like this at all. In any way. They didn't lie to us about the Activision thing, but the Activision influence. But it's clearly there. And it looks like Ibarra's had to do the dirty on it. Do you want to speed up selling the company? Maybe. Maybe. I imagine they would like to get out from the Activision side. What if you're on the big screen at Blizzard right now? Hello. My feeling is this is Ibarra doing what Bobby says for now to drag things out until Microsoft takes over. Could be, but they're going to lose a lot of staff. Like, the whole work from home thing, I mean, I've worked from home. How long have I worked from home now? I've worked from home since 2004. I think. Or 2008. I think so. But I will say, there are some people who can't do work from home. I'm not saying everybody who works from home is a good employee. That's not true. That's very, very not true. There are some people who literally cannot be trusted to work without supervision. And it's really sad, but that is the case. That is absolutely the case. There are plenty of people like that. I'm watching. Yeah, in my previous job, like if you don't have somebody fucking watching you, they just won't do any work. There are lots of those people out there. Like, they're not hard to spot either. That is absolutely the case. There is lots of people like that. But ultimately, in a work from home environment, you don't keep those people around. Right? You don't keep those people around. Let's see. I'm working for looking at Preach Stream. I think that's fine, though. Work from home does not mean... I mean, shit, dude. I play games for a living and make videos about video games and content about video games, right? I work my fucking ass off. Like, to the point where, you know, I have my family step in to stop me and shit. Like, I love it. And I can have a stream open on the side and still work very efficiently. Like, I don't have that as a problem. I really don't. And then when I hear about, like, you know, if you let me read about, like, companies that are putting webcams in to make sure your eyes are looking at the screen. We read about that, like, 3 months ago or something. Like, you know, that's the line that's been crossed, right? There's nothing wrong with getting up and getting a sandwich and shit like that. And, like, checking in on something, like, doing your work and doing all that kind of stuff. So this was Zoom in. We can't guarantee Blizzard was listening in. Of course they were listening in. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Byron told his team about after Zoom meeting, me myself and boss a bullshit meeting because his boss told him. No, because it's caused so much Discord. They knew this Discord was coming because you've had so many staff move away. Wouldn't you? Like, you'd be crazy not to, right? You're going to earn the same wage and move to an area that's maybe got better schooling, is like a quarter of the living costs. Of course you do that. Josh did that. You know, Josh, when he was still at Blizzard, he moved really far away. Like, it was like over an hour away from LA. Of course you do that. You're getting paid the same salary. You can do the same work. So you move somewhere way cheaper to live. And then they say, oh, now you've got to come back. But, okay, so I'm effectively taking a massive pay cut, as well as a work-life balance overhaul. Unless they're going to start flying people in, which I doubt. Who actually works 8 hours a day. If you love your job, you work way more than that. I do. Like, genuinely, I do way more than that. Happens to us after going for work from home. People move to cheaper areas. Of course. Of course. You'd be a moron not to do that. Unless you, like, really like the high-level lifestyle. It's like, hey, work from home's fine. We don't see this changing at all. And it's going to be at least a few years. Of course you would go and live somewhere fucking way cheaper. That's better for your family. Oh, I don't have to commute anymore. That traffic in Irvine, I walked across that bridge every morning pretty much. Me and Nups like a walk, both of us. So we would go for a big walk to like the local shopping center, get some snacks and just take a walk or whatever. Watching all those people try and get into Irvine on an 8-wide highway, just all sat in traffic every morning. I think I said to Mike, like, that looks like hell. That looks like actual hell. Like, that just looks like the worst thing ever. I don't want to do that I don't want to start my day that way. I certainly don't want to deal with that when I'm going home. Long commute, especially for a job where you don't need to be there. There are some jobs where you do need to be on site. That's absolutely acceptable. But not everybody. 3-hour work week. You have to make a law because Australians will work 7 days a week. Yeah. Don't imagine it's sure to support invite. Otherwise, why should you feel that passion? Yeah, that's just a job thing, right? That's just a job thing in general. You should do your best. I try and do my best. I'm certainly not the greatest at it, and I'll fail regularly, and my team will point out when I fail. But yeah, you should create an environment where your team can say what they want to say, and get their opinion out there, and listen to their opinions, even if you don't agree with it. I think Chris will know we had a meeting like that just before I went to Bulgaria, where I was like, Chris, explain it to me. I'm not saying no, just explain it to me. Give me a fucking reason, because I was angry. I was like, I'm sick of hearing about this. Explain it to me. I'm listening. but I don't like it. I don't like it. Eric, I can live and play video games. It's true, obviously. Yeah, it's not just I don't know where that's come from, but yeah, that's what I eventually ended up doing. What's the point of the mandate? What does it accomplish? I'm not sure. Why do they want everybody back? That's the question. I'm not seeing an answer to that. Is why do you want everybody back? Did we get a statement on why they're making people come work from home? Is it in here? Is this it? Oh, that's when they implemented. Have we got an actual thing of the statement? Well, they're going to lose a lot of staff for sure. Yeah, where's the statement? Have we got that? Office lease related. That shouldn't be a problem based on what I know. Unless California... Is California changing its tax situation? Because they were working to keep... They did not want... Obviously, it would be very bad if a lot of businesses moved out of California, right? So they were encouraging people to keep the buildings and the properties, even though there was nobody in them. Because what California didn't want is like, oh, everyone's working from home now. Okay, everybody's just fucked off and left us because they don't need to be here anymore. Yeah, I'm trying to see if they've announced they're changing it. Most people don't realize how much it costs to live in California. Like, it was crazy. It's actually crazy. Because everything, at least in Irvine, the way Irvine is like set out is kind of like a big parking lot. And all homes are like hidden. It's a weird place. It's very industrial. It's a very industrial place. It's almost like clinically designed. It feels a bit like you're walking through some city built in Inception or something. Like, it's very strange. And all places where people live are all like put away from where the businesses are. Like hidden behind these tree lines and stuff like that. Like one little road that leads to where people live. It was really odd. I was like, I think I asked the taxi driver, I was like, where do people live? Because there's just no homes. It's just like block. And that's it. It was very much like just a big parking lot, like a big shopping center type thing, but with no people. Because everybody drives. So everybody's gated off. Like me and Nups were the only people walking. Just the streets were just empty except for cars. That's it. There was nobody walking, barely anybody going anywhere. It was very odd. It felt very strange. I can't see that they're changing anything. But it's like a purpose-built area, I believe. Irvine was like specifically designed for that purpose. Paved paradise? Well, there's not even sidewalks in some areas. Like, you can't walk. There's nobody walks. Yeah, the driving thing is weird. There was crashes. There was at least 3 or 4 crashes a day as near LA. Like, it was just normal that there was crashes. Like, we had the radio on. There was just constantly crashes. And just... It took... Oh, I mean, the best example... Max. Max's house... was we were at the Liquid facility and Max has a house nearby, and I think on the sat nav Max's house is outside of the main city, but it's like 15 minutes away, and it took us 45 minutes to get there. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was the craziest thing. Is like, oh yeah, we'll shoot to my house later and then we'll go for some dinner. It's only 15 minutes away, and we got talking for a few hours, and it's like, oh god, it's going to be like 5 o'clock. So we left. It took 45 minutes to get there, and then we could still see where we'd come from. From his house. And there was crashes all the time. It was horrible. Imagine driving that every day. Blech. Gross. Absolutely gross. A lot of people have a problem with people working from home, though. And I think that's probably where the rage comes from, is people seem really upset that some people get to work from home and they don't. And they like project all that anger onto them because their job doesn't allow them to do that. Like, you're not working if you're working from home. That's where the biggest like counter to this comes, is where in that respect is like, oh, you're working from home, so you're clearly not doing anything. Which I guess is kind of like the projection, is if I was working from home, I wouldn't do a goddamn thing. I would just fuck about, answer an email every now and again, and then pretend I'm working. Right? It's kind of boomer energy, but it's also the people who also believe that work, your job must be something that like sucks. Like, that has to be your job. Your job has to be something that sucks and is a grind and it's fucking awful, and you've got to be like knuckles bleeding every day. You've got to hate it. And you're sat at home all cushy in your slippers and your PJs and calling it work. That's not work. That's not real work. That kind of shit. Who said that ever? I doubt people are like this. I'll find you some quotes. Sure. Da, 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 da. Where was it? I know Bex linked them to us as well. Like, people were giving all this hatred back. People are 100% like that. I get it all the time because, for the most part, what people see is we just play like FF14 and then I turn the stream off and I go to bed. Like that. That's all it takes. That's it. That's all it takes to be a streamer. Like, that's because that's the impression people see. That's the bit on the camera, right? Is I wake up, I go play a game for a couple of hours, and then I just go to bed and, you know, millionaire, you know, like. That's how it works. That's all that happens. Yeah. And then you look at like everybody doing that in every category of Twitch, and it's not like that, unfortunately. It really scares me. Like, again, seeing how much suicide is rising in the streamer world. It's fucking scary as fuck. It's really scary. I can't find the post that was talking about it. It went dark. It gets really dark, yeah. Especially if something, you know, you gotta be out there. It truly is. There's a dark side to it. I always warn everybody who comes to work with us, or wants to get into streaming, is like, you need to be aware of that. You've got to be. I could be all those lazy work for all, productive, lazy at work, productive work. I honestly, I mean, it depends if you like your job. I did the least amount of work doing my previous job because I didn't like doing it. It's as simple as that. I definitely spent some days doing nothing. Nothing. I would sit at my laptop and I'd absolutely be looking at something else on a screen and then just killing time until I got to go home. I absolutely did that several times. Several times. It's just absolutely killed time because it's fucking boring. Work shit. I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. Simple as that. Like, just don't like it. A lot of people do that. Like, I think, wasn't there a report? How much do people actually work in a day? And it was like ridiculously low. Once they studied it, it was crazy low. It's like 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, it's something really low of actual productivity that gets done in a day. Really low. It all comes down to whether you enjoy what you do. Studies show that people can only work during an 8-hour day. People roughly work somewhere between 3 to 4 hours on average. Which is why they wanted to, but this went up when they went back to a 4-day week, I think. So everybody roll out if you have responsibilities, finish your projects. Yeah, of course. And it depends on your commitments. It depends on the job. Let's not be clear on this. It depends on the job. If you're doing an underpaid, undervalued job where, especially if you're doing a job where working hard doesn't actually do anything for you, which is what I was stuck in. That was where I was. Like, working my balls off got me no benefit at all. Certainly financially. I got nothing. I got no more than just doing the bare minimum. So Why would I? I'll focus on the things I enjoy. Like that's the truth of so many jobs, is you just don't get any more of working hard compared to just doing like bare minimum or slightly above. Like, so why would I do that? It makes, yeah, just like the Office Space thing. Yeah, enough to not get fired. I'll do enough to not get fired, because doing more than that does nothing for me at all. Oh god, this article gets really toxic into like how to increase your productivity, even optimize your meeting times and shit. Okay. Literally a joke for us, but it's based on real. I've had days when I've worked 6 minutes from home and played Dragonflight Dota 2 all day, otherwise I have a lunch break and work late. It depends. Yeah, it really depends. I said to Emma this morning, I'm back into grind mode right now. I'm totally back into grind mode. Like, so I like pre-warned her. It's like we've had our yearly vacation, done that. I'm now back into big grind mode. Just letting you know. Oh no, Blizzard are doing what many other companies have already done. How horrible. Truly they are the big baddie. Instead we deserve massive raises so we can afford Ferraris. That's what people are asking for. Complaining about not being able to buy a vehicle, laughing my ass off. People have always done that in Sydney. You're too used to throwing away all your money. If you moved away, that's your own fault. It was obvious they wouldn't be remote forever. I mean, that's exactly what people are saying. I mean, literally, I was like, where's my Ferrari? Where is my Ferrari? I can't even get my Ford Focus to work, dude. You know what I mean? Fair. Yeah, I can't find anything here about why they're doing it, other than Activision has decided they're doing it. Like, what is the benefit? Because again, based on everything I spoke with them about, the people who were doing this, they were absolutely fine with how it gone.